All right, hello and welcome. In this section, we are going to be going over Buddhism, which is seen as a world religion. According to the founder of Buddhism, Siddhartha Gautama, it's more of a philosophy because he at no point says he's God. I believe he actually said he's not God. And so I want to go through, firstly, what is Buddhism and who is Siddhartha Gautama and his story. Okay, so firstly, Buddhism is a philosophy of life and a philosophy with a metaphysic included. So it's not strictly limited to this world. It does have opinions on things that are outside the physical world, which is very interesting. Buddhism is a pantheistic religion, which, this is in the pantheism section. And again, as a reminder there, pantheism, pan means all, and theism means God. So all is God. And this basically the central idea within Buddhism is to understand that all is God. And what that means is all physical material stuff. So the computer is God, Zach over there, Zach, you're God. Forgive me, Lord. And Michael is God, and I am God, and this microphone is God, and this remote that I hide behind my Bible is God. And all these things are God, and my goal is to become one with all of the things. Okay, so we're going to talk more about that. That's the basic central tenet of Buddhism. Now, where did Buddhism come from, and who is Siddhartha Gautama? So Siddhartha Gautama was a prince in the royal court of a country that I don't remember the name of, but either way, his father had kept him inside the palace his entire life because his father did not want him to see the suffering and the death that existed outside the palace walls. And so Siddhartha was apparently always wanting to leave the palace, which you can understand. And at some point, his father says, okay, fine, you're old enough, you can go outside the palace. And he was put on some kind of a mission to deliver some kind of supplies or something like that. So he's on the little caravan and he's looking at the suffering that is going on around him. And of course, he's never seen anything like it. And I believe he saw a body on the side of the road, if I remember the story correctly. And he saw this body and he came to a conclusion. And I want to point this out. It's not really a religious conclusion. It is a philosophical conclusion. And this is a conclusion about suffering. And essentially, what he came up with is that life is suffering. And when I say that, I mean life in a math sense, in a mathematical sense. Life is equal to suffering. And so the philosophy of Buddhism, which is considered a world religion, but I believe is technically actually just a philosophy, the philosophy of Buddhism came from that initial premise. Life is suffering. That is what he discovered. He was sort of traumatized by this experience, leaving the walls, which, you would expect if you've never seen anything hard in your whole life, and then you see something in like death, then that is really going to shake you. And so that is what is Buddhism and who is Siddhartha Gautama. He is the Buddha. And also, I will point out that when you see pictures of Buddha and sculptures of Buddha, a lot of times we see this really kind of fat guy. That's not Buddha. Siddhartha Gautama was actually very skinny, and he had sort of like a pointy hat. If you see it, he'll a lot of times have like a little circles on this pointy hat. That is the Siddhartha Gautama that is more accurate to history as far as I'm aware. So that is an introduction into what Buddhism is, basically what they believe, and who the sort of founder, Siddhartha Gautama, who he is and what his sort of origin story was. Do you guys have any thoughts or questions you'd like to throw in or ask on that? Doing good? Michael, is this something that you see in Kenya at all?
Buddhism?
Sorry?
We have quite a number of temples practicing Hinduism and Buddhism.
Wow.
Buddhism, yeah. I've seen them. So it's something I can relate to.
Very cool. Well, we do have a fair amount here in Hawaii as well. We're relatively close to, the Asian continent. So very cool. I was not expecting that. I kind of figured that would not be prevalent in your area. So cool. Okay,
And
so
I'm curious. So where do monks come in all this? Who are
oh,
monks, or rather?
we'll get there. We'll get there we're gonna get there in a
Oh,
future video. I'm not gonna spoil it in this one, okay?
okay.
All right. All right. So in this video, we're gonna close out here and we will get to monks and where that falls in. Okay. So we'll see you guys in the next video. God bless.